for writing one time the two diagonal integrals in inner projected way with the product of statements
So,
and
Or
Daniel.
Daniel, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So, I'm Daniel. I work with Roland, so this doesn't work. And I'll be
Click on the screen with the mouse.
On the screen with the mouse.
Yeah, on the screen with the mouse.
Yeah.
That's right.
You need to, okay, good.
okay. So it's just a remote, not there. Okay. So again, my topic will be a pivot from the earlier one. I'll be discussing about two electron integrals, and the title as presented is correcting one centered two electron integrals in the inner projection based integral approximations. So again, I'm from Uppsala, working with Roland. So this is the outline. I'd like to give a brief introduction with two electron integrals and the inner projection method and the idea of auxiliary basis sets. So two electron integrals given in equation one is a known bottleneck in computational chemistry. It since the four index integrals, it scales naturally big notation O n to the fourth. So even for small molecules and sizable basis set, this becomes prohibitive. And of course, throughout the years, numerical methods, became a means to hasten these calculations. So known methods include stochastic decomposition and resolution of identity, which yesterday I heard someone used to hasten their calculations. So this idea is just the extension of your valence basis set phi nu, which I will just simply call mu nu, as a linear combination of auxiliary basis set, which theta k is an auxiliary basis function. So what is auxiliary basis function? This is just projection, or this spans your same space as your basis valence functions. This then leads to an n to the cube formally for integral evaluations. Of course, there are integral pre-screening techniques where it scales to the second. So there are different types of auxiliary basis set. So we could categorize them to two: systematically derived auxiliary basis set or a pre-computed one. So for systematically derived, it's just your inner products of your valence basis set. This includes your full Cholesky decomposition. And then for one center, we work with atomic blocks. For RACD, which is developed by Roland and other colleagues, probably in the group or in the here. So you have atomic CD and then atomic compact CD, wherein ACCD is just the removal of linear dependence from atomic CD by a subsequent Cholesky decomposition step. For pre-computed auxiliary basis set, these are designed with respect to different valence set. Normally the Alrix or Alrix basis set that 2D. And then RJ is for your column, K is for your exchange, and then RJK is subsequently designed to work with both types of integrals. So for theory, so Cholesky decomposition and resolution of identity, I'd like to lay the foundations on that and then what we actually did. So it was actually Buttrous who expressed the valence product basis. This equation 3 is just the reiteration of what I given earlier. So in this case, I just use a notation K for the auxiliary basis function. So this linear combination of auxiliary basis function could be obtained by minimizing your self energy, which is defined by equation 4. So differentiation with respect to the coefficients and then setting the gradient, you'll arrive with equation 5, wherein the mu nu k is a 3-center integral, and then the KL is a 2-center integral. So it's easy from 5 to 6 it's easy to know the coefficients starting from 5 just by multiplying the inverse of your 2-center integral KL, so which is given as equation 6. So this allows us to write your two electron integrals as equation 7. And then I just like to note that you could also optimize the coefficients between your auxiliary functions. with respect to general interaction. So following a subsequent Cholesky decomposition, you could rewrite your two electron integrals as equation 10, where R are just your Cholesky vectors. So this is just the basic of Ri or Cholesky decomposition. And then how do we use this? Normally, I would just give the simplest example, which is your column contribution to your Fock matrix, which is given by 11. So D is your electronic one particle density matrix, and alpha is your control exchange contribution. So alpha is equal to 1 if it's HF, and then 0 for a pure density DFT. Then intermediate values comes for a hybrid type. Using CDC RI, the Coulombic interaction for the Fock matrix is actually computed as 12. And then your Y here is just a summation between your vectors and the one particle density matrix D. So what we actually did is very simple. So from that mechanism, we still maintain it, and we still get the same Coulombic interaction. And then we remove the approximation and then add the exact contribution by calculating the conventional integrals by the analytical form. So this is just more of a bookkeeping where you take note of your centers of your basis functions, and then you remove it via this equation. Okay, by this equation, where in the second term is just the approximate value for the one center integrals, and then the red value is calculated conventionally. This has been implemented with OpenMolCAS. It works with all the RI-based techniques. So what we did now is to test or benchmark this method, again, using OpenMolCAS, HF, VLIP, and VTRLIP, different basis sets, and G297 database, where we have 17 molecules. And then the 24 molecules is a subset where we are expecting a higher spin component, magnetic component. So for the auxiliary basis set, we have the two types, systematically derived and pre-computed auxiliary basis set, which is composed of the full Cholesky decomposition. And then the one-centered Cholesky decomposition. For RICD, we do atomic Cholesky, atomic CD, and atomic compact CD. For pre-computed auxiliary basis set, you use RIJ and RIJ. So to test the accuracy, we just use total energy, which is calculated as equation 13, where the convention, where E pound is the exact or the conventional way of calculation of calculating the integrals. We also use statistical methods such as mean absolute error, maximum absolute error, and standard deviation of the error distribution. So for the results and discussion, I will start separately with this with the type of auxiliary basis set. So first, we dive to the systematically derived, which I use this basis set 631G, anode type, and the Dunning type. So we have obviously you could start with the known values, wherein your 1CCD is a lower or higher error with respect to FCD, which is of course a higher approximation since it's using one center blocks only. And then your RICD basis set outperforms the Cholesky decomposition basis, which is also done by Roland and other people in the group. And then you could see generally that our new correction, the one CACD, affords a lower mean absolute error with respect to all the level of theory and also the basis set that we sampled here. What is also interesting is that with respect to the valence basis set size, the smaller basis set actually achieves or gains more to this one center correction. This is highlighted with respect to your 631G star, which is the smallest basis set that we use in this benchmarking. Going now to the distribution of your errors, you could see that this follows generally the trend in mean absolute errors, wherein your smallest base that uh, achieves more or gains more for this simple correction rather than the very large basis at like a quadruple zeta, even if it's an anotype or the running type basis set. Okay. This is, I didn't highlight it earlier, but you can see in the quad zeta, the errors are almost zero, even without the correction. But this still improves the value of your approximation. Okay, so another important part of these techniques, these inner projection techniques, are the Cholesky vectors, which I discussed earlier. And then in this case, I'd like to point out the 1cc ACCD behavior. It's just a vertical shift towards the zero from ACC. This is because from the formalism that I laid out earlier, we know that they use the same Cholesky vectors, and that the exact or the conventional way of calculating these things or the two electron integrals doesn't use this formalism. So this is still the same vectors that we are using from the previous method. Okay. What is also interesting here is that at lower basis set, the poorer techniques such as the selective decision has higher number of Cholesky vectors, and then this becomes inverted naturally since you have wider inner product, higher number of inner products with your increasing number of basis sets. Okay, so that is for systematically derived basis set. Now I'd like to move on with pre-optimized basis set. So pre-optimized basis set, you are designing your auxiliary basis set on the with another valence basis set on hand. So normally for this, I'll be talking about the Karlsruhe basis set, which they optimize for the depth to this basis set, depth SVP and depth TZVP. So that's naturally the choice of your choice of basis set or valence basis set. RRJ is auxiliary basis set wherein you optimize it to approximate the column integrals. Okay, so going to the results, you could see that the correction is also applicable for this type of auxiliary basis set where it gains almost 5 micro Hartree, and similarly for depth triple zeta. This is also true for ACCD, which is example of systematically derived basis sets. Okay. Obviously, the ACCD is outperforming your RRJ pre-optimized basis set. What is problematic though, however, is that your pre-optimized basis set, the distribution of error is just shifted back. So it means that it's not correcting the exact integrals simply because of the way that this basis sets are actually obtained. So for Karlsruhe RRJ basis set, they do or they optimize it with respect to the total column energy. So this is their criteria, equation 17. And then the orbital exponents with the design of your auxiliary basis set is defined by equation 18. But I will not discuss equation 18 because it's not really relevant. What is important here is that the column energy criterion. So this is, since they are doing total energy, there is no exact integrals that we are correcting, and hence it's more of a cancellation of errors during the optimization of these basis sets. I would just point out the same behavior for the pre-optimized basis set, wherein it's just shift towards a lower errors since we're using the same machinery. Okay, ACCD is still more accurate than RRJ with higher number of RI vectors. So this trade-off becomes more efficient, wherein you have a more relevant or more significant decrease in error, which is amounting to 17.23 microhartrees rather than in comparison to RRJ. So last slide, this is for the results. This is just another basis that RRJ and RRJK, which is now pre-optimized for column and exchange components. Same can be said, but you could see now that you have better performance for RRJ than ACD. This is because of the span or the size of your auxiliary basis stat. But we could still say that we are correcting better for this RJK base set with the one center correction. Vectors are still the same. There's a shift towards zero, wherein this is just the foundations material that we did. But the same problem occurs since the optimization of the basis sets are the same. So the error are actually just shifted towards the zero, but there is still a problematic systematic error here. And this will be problematic if you're comparing relative energies now. Overall, the 1cc still performs RJK and 1cc RJK, which is good for our case, developing this theory. So summary, you could have we were able to decrease mean absolute errors, maximum absolute errors. This is dependent on the effect of our correction is dependent on the auxiliary basis set. And then for your systematically derived basis set, the increase in accuracy is inversely related, and the decrease in range is inversely related to the auxiliary basis set. Since this is a systematically derived basis set, this is also the relationship with your valence basis set choice. For pre-computed, what I'd like to emphasize is that the error range remains the same, simply because of the way that they are derived or optimized during the design of the auxiliary basis set. So for summary, this is just our work or with Roland. So conventional is quite close. We normally opt for inner projection techniques, but it produces error or a distribution of error, which you don't want when we compare orbital energies or absolute energies. So with the very cheap correction, which scales linearly with the system size, we could arrive with a homogeneous, less error, and still calculate doing so. So thank you for your attention, and I welcome your questions.